and Chasten.
We are sending warm greetings from here at home to everyone who's gathering tonight with Equality California for this year's unique Golden State Equality Awards. I want to start off just by thanking and acknowledging your board president, Joe Gregorich, and Institute board president, Jackie Thomas, for everything that you are doing as leaders in our community. Also, your terrific executive director, Rick Chavez-Burr, and my friends, Cecilia Cabello and Norman Lear, who I know are joining us tonight.
We are so humbled to be honored with the Equality Trailblazer Award tonight. Looking at the past recipients, including Dolores Huerta, Speaker Pelosi, and our next Vice President, Kamala Harris, we couldn't be more proud to be included.
Well, we very much wish that we could be gathering in person right now. I also want to thank everyone who supports Equality California, our nation's largest statewide LGBTQ+ civil rights organization, for working for civil rights and justice for over 20 years. And of course, right now, I don't need to tell any of you, we are living through an extraordinary time in the life of our country with so much on the line. In many ways, it is and feels like a dark time, but I also find so much hope looking at the arc of our own community's ongoing march toward equality. We've made meaningful gains, changing hearts and laws to recognize that who you love or how you identify should have no impact on your right to marry or have a job or get an apartment or live well. The cultural and political shift is happening rapidly. Think about how my candidacy for the U.S. presidency wouldn't have just been considered laughable 51 years ago, but probably 5 years ago too. And we know that there's so much more to do. There's an epidemic of violence against Black trans women in this country. Conversion therapy must be banned everywhere. And this administration's continuous attacks on the trans community, from service members to access to healthcare, must come to an end. And I'm very hopeful that it will. A Biden-Harris administration will pass and sign the Equality Act and build a government that reflects the diversity and the strength of our country. And that, of course, includes LGBTQ+ Americans of every background. There are 11 million eligible LGBTQ+ voters around the country, 57 million pro-equality voters at least. And if we make sure all of them vote, this will be a historic victory up and down the ballot in November.
Peter and I know from having the tremendous opportunity to crisscross this country over the past 2 years just how warm and inviting the American people can be in places you might not always expect. But in my own story, I have seen the transformation that occurs when people open their own hearts to embrace people who are different from them and give other people a chance. I grew up in a town in northern Michigan where, at the time, it was simply unsafe to be out. There were no out people or role models I could look up to as I began my own journey, and life wasn't always easy for me. But then there are organizations like Equality California and those across the country sending up beacons of hope who helped change the tide in our fight for acceptance, equality, visibility, and pride. And then fast forward this year as I traveled around the country campaigning for my husband as he campaigned for President of the United States. Yes, our story can be a powerful reminder of what is possible, but it's also a reminder for how much fight we still have left for true equality for everyone in this community and this country. That's why we have to continue to speak up and out and do the hard work every day to protect and support LGBTQ youth whose circumstances still make them feel unloved, unseen, or unsafe.
You know, when I think back to my younger self, if I could have known that the very same thing that I thought might mean I'd never get to serve in uniform or in office turned out to be a big part of how I had a chance to make a difference. I mean, I think about God having a sense of humor, and I think about what we've learned along the way. So I want to close by all of us reflecting on where we've come just since 2010, and then picture where we might be by 2030 if we make the decisions now in 2020 to build that inclusive future for the next generation, where we can look them in the eyes and truthfully say, there is space for you, your uniqueness is celebrated, and yes, you belong. Thank you again so much for this honor. Stay healthy and stay involved.
Good night, and thank you.